Hi, and welcome to the A Quilting Life podcast. I'm Chelsi Stratton from Chelsi Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherri McConnell from A Quilting Life.
And this episode is airing Monday, March 14th. So welcome.
Welcome.
And it is a very exciting podcast today, as you can see, because we got the go-ahead to share our newest fabric line with Moda Fabrics. And this fabric line is named Emma, and it's very sentimental to us. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking all about this new collection, the quilts, some other fun things that are with it. And we're just so excited. We have been sewing and designing new patterns that we hope that you'll love. And it's just been awesome, and it's refreshing to be able to share it with you all today because we just love being able to share this with you.
Oh yeah, it's so exciting. And you might have already seen our actual all clear date was Monday, March 7th. So you might have seen a few things on social media already, but this is our deep dive. This is where you're going to find out everything all about this collection. And like Chelsi said, we're both still sewing this at the time that we're taping this. We're still sewing projects and quilts, and so we don't have everything to show, but we have lots to share. And it was really kind of funny. We usually get our sample yardage. We usually kind of know when it's coming, and we're watching it, tracking it. Well, this time the yardage came from a different carrier than normal. And it also came on a Sunday.
Yes.
And so we were just like, first of all, we had no idea, my doorbell rang on a Sunday afternoon when I got home from church. And I was like, who's ringing my doorbell on a Sunday? And I see the FedEx truck driving away.
It's not the norm.
Not the norm at all. And I was just like shocked. I was like, oh, wow, like it's here. And I thought it was still weeks out.
Yes, totally. We did not expect to receive the fabric as soon as we did. And so you can imagine our excitement just wanting to dive in and start quilting. And yeah.
And poor Chelsi had to wait. I feel like it was 3 or 4 hours, right? Before yours got there the same day, but late in the day.
Yeah. So I get a message from Mom saying, the fabric is here. And I felt so left out. I was like, well, wait, where's my fabric? And it showed up that day, and everything was good. And so, it was really exciting.
Yeah, it's been really fun. So,
Maybe just make a note to those who are just listening that this will be a very visual podcast, and you'll do the best you can to explain it. But ultimately, you'll probably want to go to my mom's website to see pictures or go to YouTube to watch the video to see everything.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be showing pictures of the new quilt patterns and the fabric up on the screen. So yes, definitely if you can go to YouTube at some point or Mom's blog to view those pictures, because we'll be talking about things in depth. So
yeah. And actually we might even have some things that are not finished and quilted at this taping. We might have photos by the time this airs, and so you might be able to see, because I know Chelsi and I both have quilts that being quilted right now and others that are almost done. So you'll want to definitely go to YouTube or the blog.
So I'm excited to dive into it. So do you want to get started on what kind of inspired this collection, why it's named Emma?
Right. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you a little family history, actually. This collection is named Emma, and it is named after my great-great-grandmother. So Emma was born in 1865, and she died in the late 1930s. She was my grandmother's maternal grandmother, and as the story goes, a traveling salesman came to her home when she was, it's been told 10 or 14 years old by 2 different family members. So somewhere in between 10 and 14, a traveling sewing machine salesman came to their door and demonstrated his machine and told Emma's parents that this machine was so easy to use that their daughter would be able to use it. And so Emma's father bought the sewing machine and said, now, Emma, you can sew for yourself and for your brothers. And Emma made the clothes for the family, and she made beautiful clothing. We have some family pictures of her own family where she made her husband's suit and her dress and her children's clothing, and she was just a really accomplished garment sewer. But at some point in her life, she became interested in quilting, and she never had, I don't believe they ever had an electric vehicle. I don't believe, according to my grandma, they ever had electricity in their home. So, and her husband actually did a lot of the shopping when he went to town and took the eggs and went to buy their goods. He was often the one from, according to my grandmother, who would pick out the fabrics and bring them home for her to make a new dress or an apron. And the story goes that he always got a little bit of extra yardage for her quilting. And I think that's so sweet.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. And she was prolific. She made lots of quilts that she gave to her family, and also lots of blocks that never got put into quilts. We'll actually pop up a picture of a Dresden quilt that I have that is made entirely of Dresden blocks, hand-pieced by Emma, but sewn together into the quilt by my grandmother. And my contribution is actually going to be, I'm going to make a label for this quilt. It never got labeled. So I'm going to make a label and stitch it onto the back. Emma made Dresdens. She loved grandmother's flower garden blocks. She never put one of those together either. I will also pop up a picture of the grandmother's flower garden quilt that was put together by my great aunt Joanne with all blocks that Emma made, but Joanne pieced them together. And this quilt belongs to one of my mom's cousins right now. So we have it all documented. And thanks to my great aunt Joanne, who did a lot of the documenting and a lot of the research, we know a lot more about Emma's quilts and sewing history. So yeah, so it's called Emma. She taught my grandmother to applique and to quilt, and her legacy, this is kind of a tribute to her.
Yeah. So. I feel like that, really is. We really focused on that when we were designing this collection, and we'll pop up a picture of the bundle and everything, but we wanted to keep the prints just very vintage-y feeling, but also, keep it modern and keep it, so it has that really fun vibe that we try to bring as creatives to still make it traditional but modern. And we really feel like it was well-rounded and really represents her. And you'll notice we'll show a picture of the large floral, but we really wanted to try our hand at, some really pretty florals. And I think we accomplished that in this collection. They make great backings and borders. And so you have a really good mix of vintage basic prints and florals in this collection. And the colors are just gorgeous. We brought back, our charcoal gray and the light gray and just this really pretty blue and a darker green, you'll notice, but the yellow and the reds and the corals. And of course, a great range of low volumes for you in this collection. So we have just had so much fun sewing with it. And the whole process has just felt really sentimental, I know, to both of us. So
yeah, I feel like you did a fabulous job. I remember sending you some inspiration photos from that Dresden quilt that we talked about.
Yeah, you did.
Of individual fabrics. And I feel like really just like Chelsi said, it's got a 30s inspiration stepping out point, but it's very modern. And the three of the colors are old colors for us, I guess, the dark gray, the light gray, and the corals. But I feel like we have a twist on the blues, the greens, the yellows, and even the reds.
The red is a little bit different. Yeah.
So, and our background is lighter.
Yes.
And brighter.
Yes. We went with Bella 200 on this one.
Right.
So it's going to have a brighter feel, and it was the perfect choice for this collection. It really makes the colors pop and goes with it just beautifully. I do want to comment on the yellow because your Dresden quilt has so much yellow in it. That was the inspiration for that yellow in there. And it just goes so well with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bella 200, we've recently been using that a lot more anyways. And it just felt like the perfect time to implement that into our fabrics.
Yeah. Something else really exciting about this collection is that it has a panel included. And this is something that we have been talking about for quite a while. And the panel has 8 different images. And so you can see most of them. Actually, if you're watching, you can see all of them on the quilt on the wall. Up in the top left corner, there's a quilt block image that is actually from my Starlight pattern.
Yeah.
And then the Be of Good Cheer is one of the panel, and Chelsi thought of that, and I love that.
Of course you do.
In row 2, we've got my Timeless quilt block image in multicolors. And then over on the right, we have a favorite quote by Laura Ingalls Wilder with just the florals from this collection surrounding it. It's so beautiful. We have a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote over here with the same florals. And then Chelsi's Hearts at Home 2, 4 blocks with the log cabins and the hearts, rounds out row 3. We also have the original Hearts at Home layout, right?
Yeah.
With the heart. And then as a tribute to Emma, we also have the Dresden in the lower right-hand corner. So we're just super excited, and we'll be talking about all sorts of different projects with this panels.
That will be provided since the panel is included in the Fat Quarter bundle.
Right.
So we're just really excited about that because there's so many uses for panels, and we can't wait to see what everyone does. But yes, also we'll deep dive into the projects we have available to use the panel so that you can make use of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep thinking of more. It's kind of
I know. We're really excited about this episode.
I've got a couple done, and then I'm just like, oh, well, here's something else you could do, So.
Yeah. I'm sure you and Billy will be doing a lot of cool videos on the Quilting Life YouTube channel.
And you too.
Me too.
When you have all the quilts ready to share.
Yeah, I finally started doing more videos this year, so it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so should we kind of dive into the quilts then?
Yeah, let's get you started.
Since we already just started with this one. I'll share 2, and then Chelsi will share 2, and then I'll share 2 more, and then she'll share 3 more. She did 5 patterns this time.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
So
Mom told me not to. She was like, save yourself the stress.
Yeah. Okay, so on the wall, we've already talked about is Country Home. And as you can see, there are 16 different houses. 8 of them are completely pieced, and 8 of them use the panel. And this is a fat 8th quilt, and you'll also need the panel. There's so many different options, though. You could do more pieced houses and fewer panel block houses if you only wanted to, maybe put 3 or 5 of the panels. You could do all 16 houses without the panel if you don't love the panel. Just so many options with this. It is going to be a Motoboxed kit. Yay! So, yes, super excited about that.
I'm so happy for you.
I love this. It was so fun to sew.
The grass, though. Can we talk about how she put a lawn on the front of all the houses? That's what's been fun about the greens in the collection. Yes. And Mom's over here just putting fresh grass in these blocks.
Well, that was funny. The last collection that we had that had greens, did we only have 2 greens in Balboa?
Yes.
And we haven't had greens since, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, we need 3 or 4 greens.
Yeah, we have lots of greens.
We have 4 greens. So.
I was like, all right, I'll take care of it.
Yes. So we're super excited. I'm just going to move these kind of back, and we're going to show you a couple things. So this was actually an idea I had after making the Country Home quilt. This is actually going to be a bench pillow, but it would also make a fun wall hanging. Mm-hmm. And you can see what I did is I made 2 of the pieced Country Home blocks, and I put my favorite panel, Be of Good Cheer, in one of the panel quilt houses. So you will need the Country Home pattern to make this, but super fun. I used actually Summer Sweet for my backing mixed with a little bit of Emma, and I put a zipper in the back. My pillow form is on the way.
We'll share it when it gets here.
Yeah. But yeah, just another fun idea of something that you can do with this pattern and, with the panels.
Yeah.
So
cute.
Okay. And then I guess I'll show
We'll get a picture of this
We'll get a picture of Potluck. Potluck is actually one of my older patterns that I remade in the Emma fabrics. Really excited. It's actually under this. You'll see a better view when we pick up this mini.
Yeah.
But it's interesting also. It has 2 Dresden blocks that are optional in this pattern. If you don't want to add the Dresdens, you can it's a layer cake pattern. You can just substitute a couple of
squares,
layer cake squares. Yep. Also, almost all, in fact, 7 of the 8 panel images can be trimmed to work with the Potluck pattern. So you could also get a panel and implement those. And so that's what I did. We'll hold up this. This is a wall hanging version of Potluck where I made 4 of the chain blocks with 1 print and then used 5 panel images for a fun wall hanging for my kitchen.
That is the cutest quilting on this too.
Oh, Marian did this and I love it. I just love it. Yeah.
And Mom also does, on this quilt, the border, this beautiful blue color we have, she also did the stripe that matches that color. And I love when you do that. I think it's so pretty to match that border with that binding, but the stripe really offsets it so it doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really pretty. The stripe is great because it's on the diagonal.
Right.
So you're binding, it's going to look so cute.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I love this.
You're welcome, Mom.
And then we'll kind of move this, and now you can see the Potluck quilt. And Marian quilted that one too. Just a really fabulous.
She did this same design on my Hearts at Home too quilt.
Yeah.
I start to notice them. I'm like, yeah, some of my favorites.
I should mention really quick, my friend Gail Begay actually did the quilting on Country Home.
She did a beautiful job on that. Yeah, I love the florals and the leaves.
Really fun. But yeah, so this is Potluck, and it is an older pattern, but I've revised it, and I've also included a baby quilt version in the new pattern because I've always thought this would make the most simple baby quilt, and I'll be making one of those to share also.
I love it.
But yeah, I updated it with new diagrams and with that additional quilt, and just really, really excited because Potluck just seems like it really should be made in the fabrics that are named after Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
So my quilts are not in, we are going to pop up pictures so you'll get a visual of that. So my first one is actually the panel quilt. So this is perfect because we're already talking about the panels.
Right.
And mine is called Sweet Pea. And
I love that name.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm actually going home right after this to piece the rows together. I'm very excited. And so you use all the panels in that quilt. All you need is a panel and a layer cake to make this quilt, well, for the majority of it.
Right.
And it's perfect. You don't have to, you just have a layer cake and you trim your panels. And so it's really simple.
Too, right?
Yeah, sashing too. You'll see in the picture, but just the main fabrics that you'll be using. So layer cake friendly, I guess I should say. Yeah. It's a little bit simpler because you're just using the panel squares and the layer cake squares. It goes together so quickly. I could have finished it in a day, but dinner, kids, the whole thing.
Right.
It's very cute. So super beginner friendly. And if you're just being introduced to panels, it's the perfect quilt for you to start using with the panels because you're just sewing squares together. So it's great. It's going to be a lot of fun, beginner friendly. So Sweet Pea is my first one. You'll see that image. And then Memories is my next quilt. And I love this one. As you can see, it's pretty stars and patchwork blocks. And so it really gives that vintagey patchwork feel. And it's the main quilt that was really inspired by Emma for me. And when I was envisioning patterns to design, it was the one that really made me feel closer to her, I guess. And so while designing it, it kind of has that vintage feel. So you will be using, I believe, fat quarters and yardage for that quilt as well. And I actually just cut that one out. So I'm starting that one.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it in real life.
It'll be really, really pretty. So
yeah,
those are my first two.
Okay.
And we'll be moving on to Mom's.
Okay, so this next one I want to share, it's at the Quilters now. So I'm sure that we'll have an image of this quilted to put up on YouTube.
Social media,
and the blog by the time this airs. So it is called Emma's Garden, and actually Billy named this quilt. I was just having a time, with the names for these quilts this time. Actually, my mom gave me the idea for Country Home, so shout out to my mom.
Oh my goodness!
For that one, I reached out to her, and Billy. I can't even remember if I reached out to him or if he just heard me reaching out.
I was just in here. You were at your computer trying to figure it out, and I went over and I looked at it.
Yeah.
And because you were frustrated, not frustrated, but you already had a quilt pattern that you had released earlier called Flowers for Emma, right?
Right.
And you're like, this would have been the perfect name for this quilt too, but I already have it.
Right.
And so I saw it and I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of flowers on this quilt. And I just remember your fabric line named Harper's Garden. I'm like, well, can you say Emma's Garden? And
yeah.
And you're like, I can. I'm like, all right, how about that? And then
I can and I will.
And then she said, yeah, that's perfect. So
yeah,
there it was. I just sort of took that from your other one.
Yeah.
I'm just finding out about this now, you guys.
Yeah, you are. And it's
Family
so perfect.
is so involved right now.
It's so perfect because it has the grandmother's flower garden blocks in that quilt. There are just 12 of them. So, but also if you really don't want to make the grandmother's flower garden blocks for Emma's Garden, it is an absolutely beautiful, amazing, stunning quilt without them. You could just piece it without the grandmother's flower garden blocks.
Mom sent me a picture of it while she was working on it. Very cute.
Really excited. Yeah. I'm actually in the process of, and we probably should have a picture of this to pop up as well. I'm doing a pillow sham to go with this one too. I'm trying to do a small project with each of my patterns.
Of course you are.
So, but something else about Emma's Garden, it is a fat eighth quilt. You can make the whole thing with a fat eighth bundle as well. I was super excited about that. I used this large gray floral for the outer border, which
so pretty,
really
you guys.
It's just
I can't wait for people to see the prints up close. We will be sharing that soon.
Yeah.
Perfect border.
Yes.
I used it as a backing for the quilt.
That's right. That's at the quilter right now.
Yeah, I'll talk about that one soon. It's very cute.
Yeah, and Val Krieger is doing the custom quilting on Emma's Garden. So,
it's going to be so pretty.
Okay, and then I just have one more. It's called Summer Skies, and it is a big block quilt. It's a little bit over 80 by 80.
Yeah.
And big blocks. Just love it. I actually have two versions that you can see. One uses all of the colors in the collection, but has gray. The center stars are multicolored, but the outer stars are the grays. But then I have another version that just uses the charcoal, the lighter gray, and the blues and the greens. And
so pretty.
So yeah, two different versions on Summer Skies. And so I feel like, and that one uses a little bit bigger pieces of fabric, fat quarters, and yardage for, some of those prints. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to note, so you're trying to make a smaller project with each bigger project. I love that you're doing that because it just shows the usability of the fabrics, and people want more ideas to be able to use the fabrics.
Right.
So I really love that. And also the second version, just to give so many more options to people for, choices and stuff like that.
And that one I'm actually cutting out
as we speak.
Probably like tomorrow I will be, yeah. It has a lot of half square triangles in it, and I think I'm going to use triangle paper and just
awesome.
get those going tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
we love that triangle paper.
Yeah, it hopefully will also be finished and quilted before this airs, but we'll see. I feel like I'm ahead of the game, so I'm going to not be too hard on myself on that one.
Mom, you are ahead of the game. You are fine. I'm over here like on my juki, like going crazy. And Mom's like, I am just in this zen. Of quilting. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, your next 3.
Yeah, my next 3. I did this to myself, you guys. The next one, speaking of usability and diversifying different ways with this fabric line, when we were designing this, I knew I wanted to make a couple quilts that were themed, and I'm very excited about this next one. It's called Joyful. It is so cute, and what I did is I used the reds and the greens and the pinks, these cute peaches we have, to make a Christmas quilt, and it's Christmas present blocks with patchwork blocks included. And
it's so cute.
Oh, and the grays. I used the light grays too. Okay. So cute.
It's at the Quilters right now.
It's at the Quilters
right now.
Marion
has it.
Marion has it. She is so wonderful.
Yeah. And now everyone has a face to put with Marion and Val.
Right.
Yes.
They're on the podcast.
Exactly.
A month ago.
Yeah.
So it is fat quarter friendly, I believe. And I really am excited that I was able to take these fabrics and make a Christmas quilt using these fabrics. So Joyful is so fun. And I just love present blocks, you guys. So that one's a lot of fun. And the next one is called Story Time. And we'll pop this one up. It is a bigger block quilt. I like to sometimes have a bigger block quilt.
I didn't realize that was a bigger.
Yeah.
Fun.
And so, pretty big. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So you will notice it's fat quarter friendly. And so I'm using a different fat quarter for each block, and it implements patchwork and stars in the block. And this one actually has 2 versions. So I kind of did what Mom did. And the other version is included in the pattern to make, and it uses the charcoals, the dark charcoals and the grays. So it's so pretty. We have that picture up for you here too. So I just wanted to do I love every time you do a charcoal version or a blue and white version, I'm like, I'm going to do that next time. So of course, this time I'm ending up making 6 quilts because we have the second version. But yeah, Story Time's a lot of fun, fat quarter friendly. And my last quilt that I'll share very quickly, I also have this one cut out. I'm actually sewing this one and Memories at the same time.
Oh, you do that a lot.
Oh, I'm so weird, aren't I?
I don't ever do that, but she'll sew multiple quilts from the same fabric collection at the same time.
At the same time.
I don't know how you don't keep from getting confused or.
It's because I have this I'm so crazy about I want to sew a lot.
You don't want to stop and iron.
Yeah, I don't want to stop and iron.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I'll just sew 2 quilts at the same time, and then I'll go to the iron with all of it. And I do. It's so weird. But
no.
I cut both of those quilts out. They're ready. I'm going to go home and sew the panel quilt rows together, and then I'll get going on that. And I had just enough background to do those 2 quilts.
I have to interject.
Oh, gosh.
So we weren't able to get any extra of our tone on tone.
Yes.
Enough didn't get sent over by mail, and so we're waiting for it to come by ship. But I did those first 3 quilts and the wall hanging and the pillow, bench pillow that I showed you with just the tone on tone that I had. And all I have left is a 5-inch by width of fabric strip.
No.
Yes. So my final quilt, I'm going to have to use the Bella 200 because I can't wait for the other yardage to get here.
That's okay though.
But I feel like that's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I got a lot done with 5 yards.
Yes, you did.
To make 3 quilts.
Yeah.
And a bench pillow and a wall hanging with 5 yards background. I cut
made
so
use
carefully.
of it, Mom.
Yes.
Used all those extra pieces.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
So,
Oh, okay. So the
Final
last
quilt.
final quilt, and this is kind of like joyful. I did a red, white, and blue quilt. It's called United, and it is so pretty, fat quarter friendly. And I use these beautiful blues and the light grays and the reds and actually the peaches because as you can see on screen, but in person, you guys, I cut it out and it is just so pretty. I cannot wait to finish this quilt. So United is red, white, and blue vibe. And that's kind of what I wanted to do was give different options. Like, you can make a Christmas quilt with this collection. You can make red, white, and blue. So many options for you. You can make traditional quilts. So those are all of them. And I just can't wait to have them pieced and quilted so we can get them on the podcast. And so, yeah.
It'll be fun. The next several podcasts will feature
so
my
many.
remaining quilts and all of Chelsi's quilts. So it'll be really, really fun to see.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and we'll have the patterns available as soon as possible in paper and PDF. You can probably follow along on our social media, Instagram, and also my blog when these patterns are finished. And we have a fun little...
Yes, you can share it.
Okay. So we are doing a cute little sticker sheet. So we did a sticker sheet with Sincerely Yours fabrics.
Yeah, and it was really, we had a lot of fun with it. So we wanted to kind of bring that back.
Yeah. And so we're using some of the images from the panel for that sticker sheet. And if you buy a full pattern set of paper patterns from either Chelsi or from me, you can get one of those
sticker sheets
included. And then we will also have the extras that we have will be available for sale in our shops.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah. And if you purchase everything PDF, just send me an email and I'll send you a sticker sheet too. Because I know some people they do all their patterns PDF and I don't want to leave you out.
Yeah.
But
send us a message and we'll get that sent to you in the mail.
Right. You will need to message us because sometimes we don't see those PDF.
Yeah.
We don't see that. So,
yeah.
Okay. So message you on Etsy?
Email or Etsy.
Email.
Yes,
okay.
email or Etsy.
Just clarifying before we get...
Yeah.
That
was good.
You might get more of those than you
where's my
anticipate.
sticker sheet?
Yeah, I might not see it here. So, that's great. So, okay. Do you have some?
Yeah, I had a few questions for you guys now that you guys have talked about it. So, earlier on, you mentioned it has a vintage feel, and you said 30s, like you're talking about 1930s, like from that, but also modern. So,
right.
To me, that contradicts itself. So how is it vintage and modern? Is it because of the patterns on the fabric? Is that more modern and the colors are vintage, or vice versa? Or how would you explain that?
I feel like there's a little of both going on.
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a great question. We have some vintage. Some of the designs are a little bit vintage.
Yes.
Some of the designs, though, are a little bit modern.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
so
it's a mix of both.
It's a mix.
In different prints.
Yes.
You
Right.
have
And
some
on
vintage.
colors.
Right.
You put some of these colors together, it's totally straight 30s. But together as a whole, we have modernized kind of the way it looks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then was your last collection? I get mixed up with your collections now. Last collection was Sincerely Yours, right?
Seashore Drive.
Seashore Drive.
Which hopefully will be shipping in March.
We are crossing our fingers. It has been crazy.
So delayed. And we apologize, but it's out of our hands.
It is. And when we get word from the warehouse, we will be letting everyone know immediately. I've had people message me recently.
I almost feel like at this point it's you guys have to say it will be shipping in the future.
Yeah.
Or just add 2
in
months to whatever we told you.
Yeah. Because it's always going to be delayed a little bit.
Yeah, it was supposed to ship in January, but still no.
Yeah. Okay, so that's right. That the Sincerely Yours fabric, I was thinking that because it's already been out.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Like
That's
you just
in
did the quilt along.
shops now.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a separate on its own red and pink and white, I guess, Valentine's Day collection,
Yeah,
right?
kind of Valentine's inspired.
Yeah.
And then Seashore Drive was very similar to Balboa. I could see
brighter.
Yeah.
when I'm looking at your fabric lines, there's some that like match or pair well with it.
It actually, good job, Billy.
Would you say that this is your most unique, that's not a like holiday collection or anything? Would you say this is the most standalone line that you've designed, or is there another brother or sister to it?
I think it has a sister. Don't you?
It has a sister.
It has a sister. Summer Sweet.
Summer Sweet. Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to put that up next to it, that would go well.
We kind of started with that and then branched out.
We did. When we picked the palette, it was totally Summer Sweet. But we really brightened this with the Bella 200. So it has if you were to put them together, you would say, oh yeah, I can see it. But also you would say, this is also its new own thing as well.
And it's your first panels that you've ever done.
First panels, yeah. And I am getting ready to make a scrappy quilt, and I feel like, I want to use a lot of Emma, but it's going to have a lot of Summer Sweet in it too, and then a little bit of other things.
Yeah. So, I'm envious because Mom has a pretty good stash of Summer Sweet, and I don't.
Oh, I have saved my Summer Sweet.
She is so good at saving it. Yeah. So very, very pretty because, Summer Sweet had the oranges in it, and, this doesn't have the orange in it, but yeah.
And then also, I guess we should make a note because the Quilt on the Wall Country Homes, right?
Yeah.
We did a video for that already.
Right.
And I think we're releasing it before this comes out, right?
Yep, we are.
Okay, so having said that, that video is already out on Country Home, and my mom does a thing where she gives a demonstration of how to cut a panel.
Yes.
In that video. So I think that will be something that if it's your first time working with panels or whatever, that might be somewhere that you'll want to go and reference to.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that more specific for your quilts, or is that panels in general? Or?
Yeah, it's I think it works for panels in general. I think some of the measurements that I gave were specific to that quilt, but but the technique that I use is works with panels in general. Yeah.
I'm going to go watch it because I just kind of winged mine and it worked out. So
yeah.
Just letting, I haven't really.
Being honest.
I'm being honest. I haven't really worked with panels. I actually have a lot of panel quilts, but they're the full panels.
Where you just have the whole panel quilt.
Yes. Yeah. I have a lot of Lella Boutique ones. And I do have Corey's panel from Sunny Side Up. Was that the collection?
I have that one too.
But I have it saved, and now I really, really want to use it. I really enjoyed using our panels. And
we might have to see if that works with this panel.
It would be really, really fun. I think they're both Bella 200. So yeah.
That might be really fun.
Yeah, so I saved mine, and I was really excited because I thought, wow, this panel thing is fun. Like,
And there's 8 panels, right? You said?
8 panel images.
Did you each choose 4?
We did.
Okay, because I can tell there's some, like you said, Mom, from your former blocks.
Right.
And then the Dresden. Yeah. Okay, so then obviously Hearts at Home or Chelsea's.
Right.
Who picked out the Be of Good Cheer panel?
Chelsea.
Yay. And then I'm guessing you each split a quote. So whose quote is whose?
I think I did the Laura Ingalls Wilder and you did the
Ralph Waldo Emerson, which we both agree we love both.
Right.
We both liked it. But, okay.
We both like both of the quotes, but
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking of like, all right, whose was whose, but
what I really appreciated about this is it really was a new avenue of creativity for me. And I want people to know I'm always learning as I'm creating our fabric lines. And so that kind of helped me push a little bit. It was so much fun to create. Like, we're doing the panels, and the stickers have been such a fun thing for me. And so this is something that just brings me joy and excitement all of the time.
Right.
So that has been something really fun for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I give you guys 2 thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. All right. Well, that was a wonderful episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. And yes, if you want to see the images that Billy pops up, please check out the YouTube, Mom's blog. She'll have more things to share. Right. And I believe our next episode is coming out on March 28th, Monday.
Right.
So stay tuned for that. And on our social medias, watch for all of the new pictures of the fabrics and the quilts that we're going to be sharing. We're just so excited about it.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Thanks so much for stopping by.